What's up, everybody? How's it going? Austin Pretzel Elevate Performance, coming at you live. Happy freaking Tuesday, everybody. Before I get started, if you are a client of mine and you are watching this right now, do not forget hashtag I'm here so I know that you saw this. If you're watching this a later time, hashtag replay so that I know that you saw this. But while you're tuning in, give this video a like. Let me know how your day is going so far. Also, reminder for the next, I guess, basically 24 hours, any merch that is purchased through the Pretzel Elevate Performance store will be going towards, a donation to one of my clients who is having, who had lung surgery today, Pam. So if you haven't done that yet and you're wanting to help out, feel free to go to the shop and do so. Like I said, all proceeds will be going towards her and her medical expenses. So yeah, cool. So let's jump into it. Burnout. That's something that a lot of people deal with and a lot of people go through at one point or another in their life, whether it be with your job, whether it be with your, like fitness journey. We're going to be kind of gearing it towards the fitness journey side of things. I've experienced it both. So, probably a lot more common. Well, I would say it's pretty common with both. Both work and fitness or weight loss journey type of thing. And so, yeah, as you're tuning in, though, let me know. Have you experienced burnout before? Are you experiencing burnout right now with your current fitness journey, with your current job, with whatever it may be? Burnout's some serious stuff. It can mess you up. It can mess up kind of like your goals, like long term. Not long term, but it can in the short term, it can kind of throw you off out of that momentum, and it can really, turn something that you enjoyed at one point in time, or something that you loved, or that was a passion of yours, and it can make you kind of hate it sometimes. And so, yeah. So let's talk about burnout. And I'm gonna basically break down. I'm gonna talk about like 5 or 6 different causes of burnout and why it might happen and why you need to avoid it or what you need to be making sure that you're doing properly to handle it going forward. Because when you burn out, you can't do what you want to do to the best of your ability. And a lot of times, whenever you're burnt out, it can start to cause this like negative feedback loop and start to cause this resentment towards something that's supposed to be enjoyable, especially in this case with fitness. And yeah, so if you've ever experienced burnout, with your job or with your journey right now, like, leave a comment because it's common. It's very common. And it's not something that, people like to talk about a lot because whenever you are feeling burnt out, a lot of times you feel kind of like a failure. A lot of times whenever you're feeling burnt out, you don't want to talk about it or you don't want to, there's almost like this sense of like shame that, I failed or like I'm, not living up to this like standard that I've set for myself or that other people kind of see me as. And so I'm just here to kind of like talk about this and normalize burnout. It's not a good thing that it happens by any means, but it is normal. It happens to people. It happens to me. I had a really bad burnout in February, and it was not fun. And so I'm going to talk to you guys about how I handle it and how I think that you guys should handle it too, especially with your fitness journey. My burnout was more or less related to my business and things like that. And so, for fitness journeys though, I feel like I've got a pretty good handle on burnout. So these are some things that could happen and why it's happening. One, you're pushing too hard from the get-go. Like if you're feeling burnout and you've only been doing your training for a couple of weeks, or you've only been doing your nutrition or whatever it may be for a few weeks, and you're already feeling like taxed, and you're feeling like you're just exhausted all the time, and you're feeling like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to do this, this sucks, like I'm not enjoying this, you're probably headed towards burnout. And the reason why that might be happening is because you might be on a plan that isn't built for you, like you and where you're at currently. You might not have eased yourself into a program, into a fitness journey, into a nutrition journey, or whatever it may be. You might be going from doing nothing, right? Like never working out in your entire life, or maybe it's been years or months or whatever it may be, and you start trying to go balls to the freaking wall on your workouts. You're trying to do all this crazy shit where you're training like 2 days a week. You're training like, you went from training 0 and all of a sudden you're trying to work out like 5 or 6 days a week. Like you're probably going to overstress yourself. You're probably going to, spread yourself too thin or something along those lines where you haven't prepared your current like system, be it physically or like mentally and emotionally, for what you're trying to do right now. And so I would encourage those of you who are, starting out a fitness journey, you're thinking about starting one, or you're at the beginning of one, like be careful. Like, don't go like ham and try and do some like, elite level like shit when you're just now starting, right? And so that's why, with what I like to do, I hate it whenever people, start a fitness journey and they go with somebody who's extremely experienced, and that extremely experienced person puts them through the exact same freaking workout that they're doing, or a coach, or like some kind of boot camp style shit where you go and they run you into the dirt and they like basically work you out into a pulp. And then you're so freaking sore that you don't even want to do it anymore, right? You're so freaking sore that you don't like you can't even like you don't even want to think about going to the gym. And that's not that creates this like aversion to it, right? And so it creates this like this toxic like environment internally where you don't want to go to the gym anymore, or you don't want to do any fitness or anything or any nutritional type of stuff, or maybe you're extremely overly restrictive at the very beginning of your thing and you're not like doing it in a sustainable way. That's going to cause burnout, right? So that's my first thing is like ease into it, transition into a fitness journey. Don't go from being somebody who has never done it before to someone who's doing it like literally, like you can't go from 0 to 100 and expect things to go smoothly. Like you got to think like I'm going from 1 to 2 and then 2 to 3 and then 3 to 4. Like that's how, rather than like going from 0 to 100. Like it's not going to end well, right? So think about it that way. That's the first thing I'll say. I see Leah, she said, I've had a little bit of burnout, that's for sure. 13 weeks down, it's more than I've ever done before, but I got 11 left. I can do it. You sure as hell can. I'm going to talk about some stuff to keep in mind that will, help, be mindful of some of these things. That way you're paying attention. Because signs of burnout are like clear as day. You feel like if you're feeling burnout, ooh, you'll know it. So I see you, Kristen. How's it going? Says spot on. Thank you. Yeah. And so the other thing, something that can cause burnout. Are you taking proper rest days? Are you taking proper rest days? Are you recovering appropriately? Are you going to the gym like 5 or 6 days a week, but you're only getting like 3 fucking hours of sleep? Or you're not taking the time or a day off, or at least one day off a week, to where you're letting your body rest and recover. You're letting your central nervous system like chill the fuck out. Because if you're not doing that, or you're not getting adequate sleep, you're not letting your body recover, that's probably a big reason why you're feeling like burnout. How much sleep we get is super 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 directly related to how like where our headspace is at and how we're able to regulate emotions and how we're able to and if we're in a bad headspace because we got shit sleep, you're probably going to be more likely to make bad decisions or impulsive decisions that are more negative than positive. So make sure your sleep is right. Make sure you're taking rest days. That's going to help a hell of a lot when it comes to burnout. So let's see. Incremental progress, hell yeah. My butt didn't burn as bad this week. Then the muscle gains must be happening. They sure as hell are. So that's the second one. Are you getting adequate rest days? Are you taking time at least once a week to have a freaking rest day, right? 3, you're focusing too much on the numbers. You're focusing too much on the scale. You're focusing too much on like you're every single day like overly just hyper fixating on like the scale on a daily basis. And when it doesn't say what you want it to say, you're getting in a negative headspace because of it. I talk about this a lot. Like people get so wrapped up and caught up in focusing on the numbers every single day that you let it like steal your happiness. You let it like pull your head, like pull you into a negative headspace and sour your mood for the day. Like it happens. It's hard sometimes to not let it happen, but if you catch yourself doing that, just take a step back and recognize like I'm doing this thing, I'm doing a good job. Like daily fluctuations are normal. And the other thing too that you need to make sure that you're paying attention to are those non-scale victories, people. Focus on those things. And whenever your times are tough, and when I say non-scale victories, for those of you that are new that are watching, feeling stronger, having more energy, being happier, more confidence, liking the way that you look whenever you look in the mirror. those sorts of things that are, like body composition, those things are way more important than a number on the scale, right? So those are the things that you need to be focusing on if you're finding that you're like hyper fixating on the scale, and that may be a source of your burnout. Another thing too, remember your why. Like remember your why. Like think about like why you're truly doing this. Are you doing it just so that way the scale says like like 150 instead of like 170? Is that what you actually want out of this? Do you want to just have do you want just the number to be different, or do you want to actually feel different? Do you want to actually look different? Do you want to actually like think about yourself differently? Right? Do you actually want to be able to play with your fucking kids and not be exhausted? Do you want to actually be able to like go and walk up a flight of stairs without being winded? Like right? Like those things are way fucking more important than a number on the scale. So think about it that way too. Remember your why, or the whys that aren't tied to a number on the scale or some sort of number. Because again, your weight doesn't define your worth. Just throwing it out there. This is my fourth thing I want to talk about. A good program will be consistent, but it can be updated. Maybe you're getting tired of doing the same thing every day. This is not to say that you should be changing shit up on a daily or a weekly basis. Like you need to have some level of consistency so that way you can track progress towards like strength and things like that and get good at the fundamentals. But that doesn't mean you need to be doing, like, if you're feeling like you're getting, like, kind of burnout, and maybe it's because you're doing something that's kind of redundant. And, redundancy doesn't inherently mean bad, and it depends on your personality and what you enjoy. But, every month or so, or maybe every, like, 8 weeks or something like that, take a look at what your program is and be like, maybe I need to throw in a couple new exercises to spice things up a little bit. Maybe I should, sometimes maybe doing your workout in reverse. Like sometimes that can be something that I've done in the past that has helped me, whenever I wasn't feeling it. But, that's one of those things too. But that doesn't mean you should be switching up your plan every single week, because there should be some level of consistency there in your program so that way you can track progress and strength and just get familiar with the movements and let your body get familiar with those movements. So, yeah. Number 4. That was number 4. Number 5. Make sure your nutrition is on point. Maybe you're feeling burnout because you're not, like, you're stressing your body out, but you aren't fully, like, properly, like, fueling it. Like, maybe you're not getting enough carbs in on a daily basis. Maybe you're not getting enough fats in, and it's screwing up your hormone regulation. Maybe you're not getting enough protein in, and it's stressing you and taxing your body because you're not giving it the fuel to like fix itself from the workouts that you're putting it through. Make sure that your nutrition is on point. Nutrition is so freaking important. Maybe you're not getting enough micronutrients in, and it's screwing up your like mental in some way or another. A lot of micronutrients are tied to having like like normal mental health. So make sure that you're getting, a variety of foods in your diet. Make sure that you're, getting the proper macros and calories and things like that that you should be getting, and not being overly restrictive to the point where you're getting burnout. Or maybe you're, not overly restricting yourself. Maybe you're just not eating enough of certain things that you need to be eating, and you're doing it on accident. So pay attention to those things too. Like if you're feeling tired all the time, if you're feeling like you're having shitty workouts, like make sure you're getting enough carbs in. Make sure you're getting enough fats in. Make sure you're getting enough protein in. If you want to have a nice, like a car that's going to take you far, you need to fuel it properly, right? Think about it that way. So number 6, it's okay to have maintenance periods, or sometimes people call them deloads and things like that. I don't think for your average person like a deload is entirely necessary, but maybe take an extra rest day or two one week. Maybe have a maintenance period where you're, and in all honesty, a lot of times, if you're doing something for a long period of time, if you've got a large goal in place, a lot of times having like a maintenance period of time where you do some sort of like reverse diet, or maybe you build up your calorie pool, or maybe you throw in maybe a couple extra refeeds or something like that, that can go a long way too, to not only helping the physical, to alleviate some of the physical stresses of dieting, or some sort of weight loss journey or phase, but also the mental aspect too. Because a lot of times this stuff is mental, just as much as it is physical. And so, having some sort of maintenance period in time, like incorporated in there. It's okay to have a day or two here and there to get away. And in fact, it's probably going to increase your adherence to the plan over time. So, just don't let those like 1 to 2 days, like I've talked about in the past, turn into more. And when you do take those times off, still try to be mindful to an extent. Don't go crazy. But taking time off is a good thing oftentimes, right? I'm not saying like don't let it become a habit and an excuse to skip things, but taking some time off, like that's something that I always that always led to my burnout was not taking adequate time off. Typically, I like to try to reserve my time off personally for when it comes to my fitness stuff and my workouts and things like that. I like to reserve that for maybe if I'm going on a vacation, right? If maybe I'm going on a trip and it might be inconvenient anyways for, me to get access to gym equipment or for me to get access to, maybe I'm going somewhere where it's going to be difficult, right? Taking a week off once a year is probably a good fucking thing for you. It's good for everybody to some extent. That's why vacations exist, right? That's why vacations exist for your jobs. And so you don't you don't get a lot of people get burnout anyways from their jobs because they hate their jobs. But if that's why they're there. It's to give you that time to get the hell away from what you're doing currently, so that way you can enjoy it whenever you get back. Because a lot of times too, what you'll find is whenever you stop, if you take a couple days off and you actually enjoy what you're doing, it's just that you're burnt out. You'll find whenever you come back to it, like close towards the end of your like vacation from your fitness goals or your plans or whatever like that, you're gonna be like ready to go. You're gonna be like, damn it, like there's a couple of days left of my time off. Like I want to get back at it now because it helps you. Like it's one of those things that's like the heart wants what it can't have, right? And if you take what you've been doing a lot of times away from yourself for a little bit and get away from it for a little bit, like you're gonna want to do it even more. You're gonna want to get back into it. You're gonna get back at it. Like there's been so many times like like where you take a break from your work or whatever it may be, and then you come back and you're feeling re-energized. You're feeling like, oh my gosh, like I remember why I like doing this again. Like that stuff's healthy. That stuff's important to incorporate at some point in time. On a every couple months or so, take a couple days off. Like that's maybe that couple days off is a holiday weekend or something like that. And again, don't go crazy, but these things can be helpful to increase your level of adherence. Because at the end of the day, it's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. I would rather and that's why I don't like a lot of these like things. Like I saw a post today that I actually really I wish I could remember who wrote it or who posted it. But it said I would rather, because a lot of people like to do like the 75-day hard thing or whatever it may be. And it's like freaking crazy. Well, I would rather, and this is the exact quote from the post, is like, I would rather somebody do a 365 moderate than a 75 hard, right? Because at the end of the day, consistency and adherence to the plan will get you to your goals. It's better for you to be on at 80. I'd rather somebody be 80% adherent for the entire year, like 7 days a week, than them be 100% adherent for 2 days out of the week. Because that's like, you got to think about like passing and failing kind of thing. Like if you think about it on a grade system, if you had to grade yourself on a weekly basis as how adherent you're being, like that's going to be an indication of how likely it is you're going to get to your goals. So if you got an 80%, you're golden. In time, you're going to reach your goals. If you're at 20%, you're failing, and you're going to keep failing. You're not going to see the progress that you want to see if you continue to do that. So think about it that way. But that's about all I have for you guys today. That's burnout. So take these things into consideration. Take it seriously, because like burnout can like really throw a wrench into your plans when it comes to your goals. Like if you're not taking care of yourself in these ways and paying attention to these things, like you're gonna burn out, right? You're gonna burn out, and burnout is not fun. Burnout screws things up for people, and it can make you hate the thing that you're supposed to be enjoying, that's supposed to be fun, that you're supposed to be loving. And I don't want that to happen to anybody. So pay attention to these things. If you are somebody who's prone to burnout, pay attention to these things. Let me know in the comments what one of these things that you're going to do the next time you feel like you're burning out. Let me know your number one takeaway from this live today. Give it a like, give it a share. If you know somebody who is struggling with burnout right now, maybe this will help them out. And just a last little reminder, again, the merch store, all proceeds for the next 24 hours are going to be going towards my client Pam and her, and in terms of like a donation to help with her lung surgery. And so, yeah, other than that, guys, I appreciate everybody for tuning in, and have a great rest of your Tuesday. I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one, everybody.